Okay, I think I got it working. Yeah, it's recorded. Okay, so I'm using an iPhone 12. In case you wanted to know, so it's not the best way to, I guess, make these videos. I don't have a microphone. I'm just using natural lighting too, so it is what it is. I'm gonna do some shoulder work today. Before I get started, though, I would say that if you are just starting out, or maybe you don't want to get too deep into the working out, and you're at home at a commercial gym and you just want to maybe an overall shoulder exercise. Maybe you work your total body twice a week and you just want to do one exercise per body part. If it was me, I would do some type of pressing movement. One of the most basic shoulder exercises that everybody learns early on is like a military press with a barbell or a dumbbell, and you can do it seated or standing. If you're going to a commercial gym, they have shoulder machines that you can use, and there's a Smith machine, which is a specialized type machine where you could do your military presses off of. The Smith machine and the shoulder machine in the commercial gym probably provides a little more stability to your movement. If you feel your shoulders, like mine is a little unstable on my left side, I would probably use the machine or the Smith machine that I've had at a commercial gym. But I'm focusing more on the three heads of your shoulder. So you have your interior head, which is the front head of your shoulder. You have your posterior head, which is the rear head of your shoulder, and then you have the lateral head, which is that side head of your shoulder. And each of them do a different function. You know, front deltoid raises your arm up, side raises it to the side, and the back raises it to the back and outward. So I focus more on my rear deltoid now. You do get some work on your front deltoid, especially during your chest day if you're bench pressing, either dumbbells or with a barbell or an incline press. Your front shoulders or front delts are getting some work there. So I concentrate more on my rear delt. I think it's probably the smaller of the three heads. It's also probably the most difficult to train because you really can't see it when you're training unless you're videotaping it like I'm gonna do here. So so my first exercise I always do is for rear delt, and I do it on an incline bench. It's at about a 45-degree angle, maybe a little less. And I use dumbbells, and I do a backwards and outward movement with the dumbbell. So as I'm holding the dumbbell straight down, I'm laying chest down on the bench. My chin is up over the top of the bench, which you'll see. I'm pulling the dumbbell back and outward at probably about a 30-degree angle. I use high repetitions on this movement. Somewhere towards the end of the movement, you'll really start to feel that burning sensation in the rear delt. And that's when you want to keep going through that to really get the work in. Other than that, I've done this before, so I usually do about 3 sets of it, and I'll get started with that and show you what I'm doing with the rear delt, and you actually see the rear delt working. The other thing you want to keep in mind, though, is if you're pulling back too far, you're probably going to start engaging your traps or your triceps. So as you're pulling back, you don't want to go back way too far or have your arms too straight and too close to your body. That's really you're going to start feeling that in your traps and your triceps, and that's, if you do, that means you're not doing it correctly. You might want to record it and see what you're doing wrong. So that's kind of how I've approached it too. I've recorded it, and I want to see that rear delt, that muscle, contracting as I'm pulling it back. So hopefully you'll be able to see that when I do the movement here. So we'll get started now. Okay, we'll do 2 more sets of that. Okay, let's do 1 more of those. So if you're going to a commercial gym, those rear deltoid movement I just did, they actually have a machine. It's a rear deltoid fly you could use too, which is a very good machine. You know, if I had that, I'd probably use that too. But I do like this movement at home. But if I was at a commercial gym and had access to a rear deltoid fly machine, I would probably incorporate that into my workout, as well as switching back and forth between that and what I'm doing here on the bench. So the next movement I'm going to do is going to be from my front deltoids. Now I said before, your front deltoid gets a lot of work during your chest routine, so I don't spend a lot of time doing front deltoid work. What I'm going to do is a front raise. Now there's different ways you can do this also. You know, sometimes I'll do it with a dumbbell, unilaterally, 1 arm at a time, up and down. Today I'm going to use a barbell. I'm going to lay, again, my chest flat on the bench at a 45-degree angle, approximately. My chin over the top of the bench. I'm going to be raising a dumbbell on barbell. About shoulder width is where I'm going to grip it, and it's going to come up to about parallel and then back down. Now, I don't have actual equipment to be able to do that, so I have to improvise. I take my bench, my old body solid bench, and I put it at that approximately 45-degree angle. And I set the barbell on the frame of the bench. It's not made for that, so I have to balance it, or it will tip to one side or the other. You'll see what I mean when I'm doing the exercise here. But it's something, again, when you have a home gym, there's a lot of things you can do and you can improvise that you could you could do it at a commercial gym with a piece of equipment they probably have that you could use. But here at home, I'm improvising not the actual movement, but just how I have to set up the barbell to begin the movement. So I'll show you here in a second. All right, easily balanced. Do 2 more of those. So if I'm doing this right, you should be able to see my front deltoid working as I'm pulling that bar up. I'm letting it down. I'm not letting this fall down. I'm trying to control the negative portion of the movement too. So do a second set here. All right, we'll do one more of those. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we've done a rear delt movement and a front delt movement. Now we're going to do a side delt movement. So a side delt movement is going to be, typically we use a dumbbell, a laying down side lateral raise, which I'm going to do today off the bench at a slight incline. It's a 15-degree incline. Sometimes I'll do it off the floor, or I'll use a cable machine to do a front raise, a side deltoid raise on the cable machine. Today I'm going to use a dumbbell. So the side delt, if you build your side delt, it gives you that width of your shoulders, especially from behind when you're walking down the road. You want that wide shoulder look, like two softballs on the end of your arms there. Rear delts are really, side delt will really give you that width you're looking for. So we're going to do a couple sets of a side delt raise off a slight incline bench here. I'm going to get started here right now. So I'm only recording the one side, so I don't use up too much time. But obviously after I'm done with the right side, I'm turning over and doing the left side, same thing. So this will be set number 2 here, of maybe 3. Okay, I'm going to finish off today with some pressing movements. I think most people, when they do shoulders and they're doing a pressing movement, they usually do it first when they have the most energy and strength. When I do a pressing movement, I do it last. So, and I don't do it the conventional way, holding a dumbbell horizontal. I hold it more perpendicular and bring my elbow down and then straight up without locking out and come back down. Now again, pressing movements can be anything from a barbell military press to dumbbells or a machine. If you're a commercial gym, you have access to one. So Smith machine at a commercial gym. If I had a machine, or I was at a commercial gym, I would use the machine because it just provides more stability to my left shoulder. My left shoulder's a little bit under the weather, I guess you could say. When I do these pressing movements, whatever weight I'm using on my right side, I pretty much have to do half that weight on my left side because I just cannot extend my left arm up with any amount of weight in it without hurting it. So I'm going to do a press here now, dumbbell, just a couple sets. So again, it's perpendicular, up, up. I'm not locking out. So I come down, up without locking out, come straight back down. Left side, I'm not even going to record that because it's going to be half the weight I just used, and it's going to be very light. So there's no sense you even seeing that one. All right, that's my shoulder workout for today. I did like 3, 4, 9, about 11, 12 sets, I think. So if you don't want to get that involved, again, like I said, if I was going to do one exercise, whether it be at home or at the gym, I'd do a pressing movement. Probably use a machine or the Smith machine, just because it stabilizes, at least for me, it stabilizes my shoulders a little better. But since I'm at home, I do those isolation exercises, one for the front, side, and rear delt, and then a pressing movement at the end as like an overall type movement. Don't use a real heavy weight, especially on my left shoulder. So, give those a try. If you're working out along with me, hopefully you got a good workout. If not, and those exercises don't, connect with you, try something else. Try everything, I say. Try everything until you find something that you connect with and you really like doing and you really feel it, whether it's just one exercise for your total shoulder strengthening, or you want to do multiple different exercises like we did here today, targeting each head of the shoulder. But try everything, cable machines, dumbbells, barbells, find out what you like. Just be consistent and give the effort, because if you're not being consistent and you're not putting in any effort, you're not going to be satisfied with the outcome. So as long as you're consistent and you put in a good effort, whether you're doing one exercise per body part or 4 or 5 exercises per body part, you've got to be consistent and you've got to give the effort, or you're going to be dissatisfied with the results. So that's all for today. If you got anything out of this, I hope you did. If not, maybe next time we'll be doing tricep, bicep again. Day after tomorrow, give myself 24, 48 hours of rest here before I work out again. And that's typically what I do, except for Sunday, Monday. I always do chest on Sunday, and then I do shoulders the very next day. And I'll do a little bit of back, finishing off my shoulder routine here. But that's it for shoulders for today. Hopefully you got something out of it. Until next time, I'll see you.